to discuss today how we handle our health and food on holidays, okay? Because I'm seeing this so much, like people literally do one of two things, okay? They create huge anxiety around an upcoming holiday because they've been working so hard on their mental health, so hard on their physical health, so hard on their fat loss and their muscle building, and they've just got this blind sense of panic, okay, that it's all just going to go to shit on holiday, and they don't know how to handle it, okay? Drop me a yes if that's you, okay? Drop me a yes if you get the same anxiety about Christmas, the same anxiety about a wedding or a stag party or any kind of big occasion where you're basically in a great flow with your nutrition and training, you're feeling amazing, and then this thing is coming up and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to literally undo, this is the phrase I hear, I'm going to undo all the hard work that I've done in the last 6 months in 2 weeks. That's kind of what the mind convinces us, yeah? So this isn't just about a holiday. This is about Christmas. This is about me going to gigs in Ibiza, me going to snow bombing, anything that basically knocks the rhythm of where you're at that you panic about. Now, first of all, you guys are here. So that's a really, really good sign, okay? Because the extreme end of this is that people don't get started, okay? Absolutely, Nicola. It happens to some people every weekend. They have weekend anxiety because they have Monday morning blues and Friday euphoria. So we're basically in this flow of everything's great, but then we know this holiday or this occasion or this wedding or this night out's coming up, okay? I was literally panicked about snow bombing, okay? I was panicked about going to work with Paul and Russell Kane in Manchester, and I was panicked about my gig at Ministry of Sound, okay? What was the feelings that those three things should have been creating for me? Okay, so I got flown to Austria and treated like a celebrity and got to DJ at the top of a mountain with all my peers. I got to play at the biggest club in the UK. And I got to have a tour of Manchester City football ground, sit in Jack Grealish's chair, even though I didn't know who he was, not a football guy. Okay. And I got to meet Russell Kane. And he actually told me I was built like a brick shithouse, which made my entire life. Okay. Exactly. Exciting, memorable, magic moments. Yet because I was in such a role with not drinking, okay, with inspiring and impacting people, with being a good dad, with being a good partner, okay, with everything being in flow, all of a sudden I'm like, what if I drink at snow bombing? What if I drink at Ministry of Sound? Okay, what if I get so tired from all of those things happening in the space of 9 days that I can't get back on track and training starts to become hard? Created all these future things that possibly wouldn't happen, okay? Now, this is the same as we do with holidays and Christmas, okay? And it's not even about the thing. Yes, I'm going to teach you how to stay on track with food at Christmas, on holiday, wherever, okay, without it ruining your enjoyment. But it's also about you changing your mindset of what a holiday is, okay? So just because the food's there, you don't have to eat it. Just because the alcohol is free, you don't have to drink it, okay? You see these people on holiday, right? So the last holiday, I don't even know when this was, about 3 years ago. I'm not even joking. Last holiday Nat and I went on to was to Fuerteventura, okay? And we stayed in these Baja Villa things, which was basically a villa within a complex. But it still had a big restaurant. It was all inclusive where you went for breakfast, right? So we sat down at breakfast. And we're looking at this couple to the left of us, right? I swear to God, they had 3,000 fucking calories each at breakfast every morning. And just because it was free, had 3 to 4 glasses of Prosecco at 8 a.m. in the morning on holiday. Like, why would, the only reason they were doing that was because in their head, it was free and they will have wanted to get their money's worth, okay? Like, that's not normal behavior. We don't get up in the UK and just eat 3,000 calories of Choco Pan and donuts and bread and everything else and start getting lashed on Prosecco at 8 o'clock in the morning, okay? Unless we've got serious issues. So also, and again, you can correct me if I'm wrong. This is the conversation that me and Melissa had. What do we have? I don't even know how to answer. What do we probably have 100% more of on holiday? What's the one thing we have an unlimited amount of on holiday that we very often use as our excuse when not on holiday for not getting things done? Yes, Peter, time. We have all the time in the world. Time to swim, time to run, time to read, time to do personal development, time to plan the next quarter, time to look at our battle plan, time to create a vision board, time to create a mission, time to look at our career options, okay? Time to delve deeper without distraction into how we want our lives to look, time to go to the gym, time to walk, time to explore, time to go on amazing experiences and make magic moments with the kids. Yet somewhere along the lines, it's gone into people's heads that the point of a holiday is to see how pissed we can get every day from the second we get up until we go to bed and how much crap we can eat. Okay? Which essentially, guys, we're not 18, are we? Okay? I get it when you're 18. You don't eat the crap, do you? You just drink the drink. Okay? But somewhere along the lines, the values of holidays have got really messed up. Okay? Now, what are the words that we would think? List me some words of how you want to feel when you get back from a holiday. Okay, mine would be rested, energized, inspired, recovered, calm, inspired, refocused, relaxed, having made some magic moments with my kids, experienced new things, had fun. Okay? Does binge eating or binge drinking lead to any of those feelings or experiences? No. Okay? But I think very often you've just become on autopilot as to what you believe a holiday should be and what you should believe it's about. Okay? Now I'm going to tell you a very real world example now. Okay? So, like I say, I don't want to make these videos all about me, but the only really life I have to tell my story is my own. So I've been booked to warm up for Sigala in the main room at Eden, which is one of the super clubs in Ibiza, on June the 16th. Okay. Again, I was quite panicked about it. And Paul asked me, why are you panicked about it? I said, because I'm in a really good place. I want to do the gig, but I'm going to be surrounded by people taking drugs. I'm going to be surrounded by people drinking. Okay. And I'm going to be surrounded by people physically trying to peer pressure me into a road that I've long stopped walking down and that I don't want to go down. Also, I'm doing live videos every day and I want to continue to do that. Okay. Also, I'm doing SAS selection on the 1st of July, 14 days afterwards. And I worked myself into that much of a heat. It's the biggest gig of my life. Anyone who knows who Sigala is will understand. Okay, it will be completely sold out, 3,500 people. That I almost didn't do it, okay, because I didn't want to knock my rhythm. And Paul just looked at me straight in the eye at our last meet up and said, what about if you went and you took Nat and you took Logan and you actually had a better experience and a family holiday and a great gig as a result of not drinking? So that's exactly what we're doing. We booked it yesterday. Okay, we booked it yesterday. Logan's coming. Nat's coming. It's about the experience, not about the drink. Okay, not the food. I'm going to get to stand in the booth of Eden with my little boy when he's 3. How cool is that? Obviously not when the club's open, but in the day when we sound check. Okay. And this is the way I want you to start to think of your holidays and your Christmases and your stag parties and your weddings and everything. Think of the experience. Think of the magic moments. Think of the memories. Think of the places you can go, the photographs, the videos, the healthy habits. It has got lost, guys, because I don't think at any point anyone said, what if I said, okay, so let's all journal this out today. Okay. In order for this, this is the question we're all going to ask ourselves. Okay. In order for this upcoming occasion of Christmas, in order for this upcoming occasion of Ibiza, in order of this upcoming occasion of my holiday, for this to be the best experience of Christmas or this holiday to date, the following needs to have happened. Okay. Would anybody answer, I need to physically try and fill my body with as much shit as possible in 7 to 14 days. And if I can manage to pull that off, I'll be fully satisfied that that was the best holiday or the best Christmas of my life. None of us would. Yet by default, because we've gone on to autopilot, that's what we end up doing. Or because we follow other people, because we're sheep. Most people can find 3 hours to go to the gym every day on holiday. If you can't and your partner's not into it and it's going to cause friction, great. Get up and go for a run before they're out of bed. Go when they're in the shower. Go when they're asleep. Okay? But you want to come back feeling relaxed, refocused, magic memories, all of that. And that will not come from binge eating. Okay? But now, through the wonders of modern technology, not only is this going to be a lesson on MyFitnessPal, which you can apply to daily life. Okay? but it's also going to be a lesson as to how I would specifically track my food on holiday. Okay, it's going to be a little bit of a delay, just so you guys know as well. And don't give me any of that technophobe bullshit, because I'll just call you out. If you can use Facebook, Zoom's easier. Everybody needs to spend a couple of weeks downloading Zoom, which is what I'm broadcasting on now, and getting used to it. It's essentially, you will get a link for these live videos and you will click on the link and I will be here just like this. It's free. You can have it on your computer or you can have it on your phone as well, okay? It's not difficult to use. You just might not have done it before, because essentially what we've just realized is if Facebook went down tomorrow, I would lose all of my content. You guys would lose all of your content. All of this work that I've done for the last 3 years, 4 years would disappear like that. Okay, so it will be recorded on Zoom and the links and the replays will still be posted here. Okay, and they will also be emailed. When I say I'm upscaling every area of the business, I do what I say I'm going to do. Okay, they will be stored on a membership site that Unbreakable 90 members or above will have access to. And you guys will have the opportunity to be able to answer questions, ask questions on camera, if you've got the minerals, or just by voice. If it's by voice the first time, the second time, I'll make sure I give you the minerals to do it on camera. Okay, so we'll be able to communicate better rather than me just talking. I'll be able to say, John, open up your mic. What do you need to get a handle on today? And I'll be delivering. Everyone who's on Unbreakable 90 or above will get 6 one-to-one group turbo coaching calls, okay, which will be a maximum of 10 people on that call. And we will discuss the number one thing in person that you need to get handled, okay? Everything's going to get better, stronger, and more improved. So get figuring Zoom out. So now ignore the meal names because that's just where I'm at the moment and I'm not changing all my settings on FitnessPal, but this would be how I would handle my food on holiday, okay? Now, first of all, if we're all inclusive, okay, it's about picking the right options at breakfast. And some people will get lost and they will say, oh, but I can't scan it. I don't know what it is, okay? Nutrition is not an exact science. So we don't need to worry that much. We just need to guesstimate it, okay? So I'm going to go to add food. And for my breakfast, I'm going to have a 3-egg omelette. Okay, so I can see there, Co-op. In fact, I'm actually going to be quite greedy because I'm a bodybuilder. So I'm going to have a 5-egg omelette. Okay, and I'm going to stick that in. I don't really need to worry about all the little bits of ham and the little bits of mushroom and whatever else I have in my omelette. And I'm also going to have, because I like it, I'm going to have a couple of slices of wholemeal toast, which I'm going to put in. And I'm also going to make sure, because many of you don't miss this and it will scare you when you see it, a little hotel packet of butter is 10 grams. So I'm going to have one of them on each slice of bread as well. So you can see I've got my 2 slices of toast, I've got my 20 grams of butter, and I've got my 5-egg omelette. Does anybody watching feel that they need more than a 5-egg omelette, 2 slices of toast, and 20 grams of butter for breakfast on holiday? Okay, if you do, then you're probably going to feel like crap around the pool, because anything more than 630 calories for breakfast is going to bloat you. Again, that could be yogurt, cereal, and a couple of boiled eggs for protein or fats, okay? It could be 3 slices of bacon, 2 wholemeal bread, 2 eggs, some salad, and some tomato. It will all work out around the same calories, but let's still get it in so we get a handle on it. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip straight forward to meal number 5, because ultimately, in fact, I'll make it meal number 3 on mine because I know they're in there. Okay. Ultimately, I know I'm always going to eat steak every day on holiday because I eat steak every day at home. It's not for some people, but it's what I like. So we're going to guess high, and we're going to go 200 grams of sirloin steak. Okay. We're then going to put in a large portion of vegetables or salad. Okay. Which I will always have. Okay. Mega important for digestion, mega important for vitamins, minerals, hair, nails, antioxidants. I always, apart from breakfast, I always have some form of veg and salad with every meal. Okay. We're then going to have, we'll search for sweet potato fries. Okay. And I'm on holiday, so I'm going to treat myself a bit. I'm actually going to have 300 grams, which would be a large portion. Okay. I'm back to my day. I can see there, I've had, it's quite a large tea, that 200 grams of steak, a huge portion of sweet potato wedges, because I'm probably going to go to sleep after that meal. And I've got plenty of veg to go with it as well, which is going to keep me full. I'm then going to put meal 2 in, which again, ultimately would probably be at the hotel if it's all inclusive. And I like to keep things varied. And I don't know about you guys, it's not for everyone, but I personally have an absolute obsession with sea bass on holiday. Okay. I don't know why. So I'm going to have, again, I'm going to guess heavy on this. 1 fillet of sea bass is around about 100 grams. So I'm going to put 2 in at 180, which will be way over. Okay. But I'm playing safe. 2,400, 600 calories. Okay. I'm then going to put in some sweet and crunchy mixed salad. I'm going to have loads of salad. I love salad, tomatoes, red onions, mushrooms, spinach, lettuce, peppers. Okay. With a little bit of olive oil. There we can see 2,448 calories. Okay. Now, probably you might want some carbs with lunch. You might not. Personally, I don't want to feel bloated around the pool in the day. So I would probably miss my carbs out and have them at lunch and dinner. But let's just say we'll put in a baked potato as well. And again, I would never have my baked potato dry. So I'm going to put in my 20 grams of Lurpak. So near or damn it, if we now look at the top, got 96 calories remaining. Okay. Now, that's 3 meals that I love. That's 3 big meals. And if we now scroll down and click nutrition at the bottom, I'm not really bothered about this being perfect as I'm on holiday. Okay. As we can see, I've gone way over on my fats. I'm massively under on my carbs because I don't want to feel bloated. And I've got more than enough protein to take care of looking after my muscle mass when I'm training. Calories are perfect. I'm going to burn at least 1,000 a day through exercise and walking, which will mean I will still be sat very nicely in a calorie deficit. come back from a holiday looking and feeling amazing. Okay, now the next day that we're going to do, okay, is Christmas dinner or the meal out. But again, I'm going to show you guys how to do it. Okay, so you wouldn't actually realize like a Sunday dinner eating out will be at least 1,200 calories, I would say. Okay, not so much because the volume of the food, but very often because of how it's cooked. So again, this is how I would coach you guys on a meal out. So what very often happens is we just start off our day as we normally would, having breakfast, having lunch, having our snacks, and then we still have the meal out on top, which is why it freaks us out. And it's why we go over, okay? Generally, any meal out is going to probably be in the region of 1,200 calories. If it's a curry or a Chinese, I personally never eat either of them out because I don't like not knowing what it's been cooked in, okay? And there could be an unlimited amount of oil on it. That's why I'd have a dry tikka if I was having a curry. Again, that's just personal choice. If it was a full Domino's, it's going to be in the region of 2,000 to 2,500 calories. Okay. So what we need to do here is we either need to go, okay, I'm having that Domino's because I'm having it with my son and it's important to me and we're getting a movie. Okay. So what I can do here is I can get my calculator out. I can say, right, I'm on 2,850 calories at the moment. Times that by 7. 19,950 calories. I'm going to take my Domino's off, which I'm enjoying with Logan. By the way, he doesn't eat full Domino's, he's 3. It's just a scenario. That leaves me with 17,950. I'm going to divide that back by 7. This week, I just need to stick to 2,564 calories each day, not 2,800. And I'm going to smash that pizza like an absolute bad boy, completely guilt-free. Okay, again, this one that I'm about to work out now would be the same as Christmas. Okay, so I'm going to put in roast potatoes. Again, guys, it's just like I said, always go back to it's not an exact science. So roast potato, and I'm going to put goose fat because that's ultimately what they will be cooked in a restaurant. Okay, so goose fat roast potato, taste the difference, Sainsbury's, there we go. I'm going to say I had 200 grams to be safe. Again, we can put the couple of packs of the vegetables in to make sure we're taking care of all the veg. Okay, and again, you know, it's not a big panic, is it? We might build in the other things that we're having around that meal. Okay, so we might have had, again, this is just me, but you guys are all different. I would probably have a caprese salad to start with. I'm going to pick one that looks around about right. Let me know if that's how you spell it. Again, I often put an English brand in. Okay, there we go. That's about right. So again, there we can see, I've got my meal out in. It's around about 1,200 calories, okay? Now, I wouldn't normally have that many calories as meal 4, but what I can do now is I can work my way back from it, okay? So I'll put my breakfast in of my 2 bagels, my shake. And now it's a case of, once I'm building the rest of the day, and this is why you have to plan your day in advance, guys. You can't just wing it and hope it's going to make sense because you'll run out. I scroll down to my nutrition box at the bottom. And I can see, right, I've got 103 grams of protein left. I've got 113 grams of carbs, and I've got 26 grams of fat. Okay, again, you guys probably won't eat like me, but I kind of eat like a professional athlete because that's what I want to be. So I'm going to put my post-workout meal in of 250 grams of rice and 180 grams of chicken. And then again, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to click nutrition and I'm going to see what I've got left. Now we're getting down to the grips of it. I can only actually have one extra meal now because I've used so much on my Sunday dinner, not my normal meal 3 and meal 2 and meal 1. So I'm going to have my breakfast, my post-workout, then I've got room for one other meal. I'm going to have the salad. I'm going to have my jacket potato. And I'm going to have my ready to eat chicken because it's nice and easy. Got to pop that in. I'm going to scroll down to my nutrition. Voila, 3 grams of protein out, 14 grams of fat under, and I've got 36 grams of carbs left. So just to keep me going, meal 3, I'm going to add a banana in. And there we go. My day is perfect, including my balls deep Sunday dinner. Okay. Those 63 calories will be made up in gravy and stuff. Still got my 2 meals and my snack in the day. Got my post-workout meal and I've got my breakfast. But what people do is they get it wrong. Okay. They either just make it up as they go along and then they're like, oh, now I've gone out for food and it was 1,200 calories, but I only had 400 left. Okay. Again, if you're only on 1,800 calories, it's a little bit different. Okay. You're going to have to be a little bit more careful. You might have to not have the starter, just have the Sunday dinner and then work the 2 other things back. Or you use the Domino's approach when you're like, okay, I'm going to eat as normal this week, but Sunday dinner is going to cost me 1,200 calories. So I need to be 200 calories under on every other day this week to account for it. Across 7 days, I'm perfectly back to normal. Okay. Has this been helpful, guys? Has that shown you how you can just go through all these situations without any stress or anxiety, and you can completely stay on track, but you still have to use MyFitnessPal? Would you believe or say that anything that I've suggested that you do is going to prevent you having an amazing holiday or an amazing Christmas or an amazing weekend? Okay. I'm not saying be a saint. I'm not saying don't have 3 or 4 gin and tonics by the pool if that's what you want, as long as it doesn't lead to you going for a swim in the kebab house until 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Again, alcohol, guys, if you drink gin and tonic or vodka and soda water with lots of tonic, lots of soda water, lots of ice, make them last, you can't really do yourself that much damage. An individual can only drink so much gin or vodka before they will be pissed, at which point it takes some willpower to try and not make bad decisions. Okay. When we're drinking beer, it's not just the 7 calories per gram of alcohol, it's the wheat. Okay. There's a lot of carbs in it. Also, wine is full of fructose. It's full of grapes. So is cider. It's full of apple. Okay. So there's a lot more calories in wine and beer than there is in white spirits and sugar-free mixers. So stick for them for it to do less damage. Okay. And you'll find you won't get as bloated either. Okay. So you're going to feel more confident around the pool. It's a win-win-win. As for cocktails, some of those things like pina coladas, you could be looking at 1,000 calories a drink. Which is why you see people drinking them by the pool at 9 o'clock in the morning because they're free. And then claiming that nothing ever works for them. Okay, you probably just had 5,000 calories in cocktails and then your food on top. Imagine being in that situation, okay? So I don't, Bev. I would allow a little bit. If I was prepping for a competition or a shoot, I absolutely calculate everything. Okay. 4 weeks before I do a shoot in June, I will account for every calorie just because it's a clinical approach. None of you are doing that, okay? Essentially, if you kind of leave 100 calories for 100 to 200 calories for kind of veg and salad and bits and bats and teas and coffees, I don't track any of that. Again, it's personal choice. Some people like everything in just because it helps with the control factor and knowing what they're having and it's all logged. But again, that's what's right for you. I wouldn't. So like if I put in this meal, okay, I very often have got a bit expensive, those microwave veg packs. So I stopped taking them and I just have garden peas now because they're so cheap. But you can see if I put my peas in on that one, okay, so 75 grams of peas, it's literally 42 calories, okay? And anything that's salad or vegetables, it's kind of fibrous carbs. It's mostly kind of antioxidants, water, vitamins, minerals. Just don't apply the same thing with fruit because fruit is very high calorie, okay? Obviously, it's full of fructose. Fructose is Latin for fruit sugar, just like that's why milk can be dangerous if we're not tracking it. Lactose, Latin for milk sugar. Maltose, Latin for malt sugar, okay? So guys, has that been helpful? I hope it will have been helpful, not in just handling those situations, but in using it in general. Okay, Donna, how would you enter grams for a buffet style meal, i.e. scrambled eggs? Yeah, I would just guess it, and I would probably overestimate by 25%. So if I thought there was 4 scrambled eggs, I'd probably put 5 in just to be safe. And I'd maybe account for a teaspoon of olive oil as well. But remember, guys, it's the same as like nutrition is not an exact science, okay? Food labeling can be up to 25% out. MyFitnessPal can be up to 25% out. Your Fitbit is a straight up fucking liar, okay? Strava is a liar. Do you know how many, I ran 15 miles yesterday, guys, yeah? Strava told me I burnt 2,556 calories. Not a chance. Half of that, I would say. Okay. So again, it's about guesstimating, getting it as close as possible, doing our best. And then that's why the weekly check-ins and the photos are so important, because we analyze what's happening. Are we moving forward? Are we feeling leaner? Yes. Brilliant. We're in the right place, okay? But scales will be up to 25% out. Your step counter will be 25% out. This is why when people spend hours and hours trying to get it absolutely perfect, it doesn't have to be perfect, and perfectionism is the lowest level of fear. And that will what will hold some of you back moving forward with tracking food, is that you think you have to get it perfect, okay? Very often just having an awareness will be enough to move forward. So any questions, guys? Remember, get Zoom handled as well, because those, especially the first 5 weekers, if you come on to the Unbreakable 90, that if you've shown me you've got what it takes in the last 4 to 5 weeks, you will be receiving an invite in the post with a treat. It's going to be very, very sexy. I'm very, very, very proud of it. The turbo coaching calls that you get 6 of, okay, every 90 days, will be delivered via Zoom, and the new content will be via Zoom and will be on a membership site as well. So it's going to be epic, guys. Big, big, big plans. So guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, we've got a live Q&A on Thursday morning. And this week, I will also be announcing I'll tell you the title now, I'll give you a little bit of a teaser. I only decided this yesterday. Okay. The title of our first ever guest speaker, who is the same guy who will be leading us on the quarterly, is facing our fears. There is no growth without discomfort, and the more discomfort, the bigger the potential growth. Okay, this guy's been in Hollywood movies. He's a global keynote speaker. He's a former Royal Marine. He's a mounting leader, and he will also be the guy that's leading us on the quarterly, which will also be announced this year, which is just going to be a social quarterly. It is going to be a yomp. It is going to be a hike. We are going to be going up quite a big hill in Dovedale, but the entire day will be scaled. If you are 25 stone, you could still do it, and I will be right at the back supporting you. Guys, I love you all. I appreciate you all so much for investing in me and giving me the opportunity to coach you. It genuinely means the world to me. Any questions at all this week, post them in this group. I will not be replying to any more questions on my personal Facebook Messenger. Guys, have the best day. I love you all.